But the right is becoming more influential among young people. There's an effort to try to get the Charlie Kirk legacy to become a part of Tucker Carlson and turn it anti-Israel. And remember, the difference between the left and the right is the left pretends. They pretend they're not anti-Semitic, they're just anti-Zionist. The left pretends that. Many on the right don't even pretend that. They just come straight out and say Jews, Jews, Jews. And that's one considerable difference.
How would you put JD Vance, the vice president, in this whole right, Jewish, Israel discussion?
Well, I have an open mind about both JD Vance and some of the other folks that are moving kind of away from the kind of support for Israel that Donald Trump has, that even Biden had, Clinton had. I keep an open mind about Vance. I think he has said some good things and some not so good things. Megyn Kelly the same way. I like her as a person, but she's made some statements recently about Israel that I would like to debate her about or discuss with her. But I don't think we should jump to conclusions right away. After all, Vance may be the president. If you had to make a bet today, and if you were betting widows and orphans money that you couldn't afford to lose, and you had to pick one candidate who's likely to be the next president, it's likely to be Vance. And so we have to do our best to try to persuade him that the good things he says is what he ought to be saying and not any of the questionable things.
But it seems to be getting louder, these voices of anti-Israel. And Tucker Carlson, of course, is the chief among them. He has a very powerful presence on media, and he has the president's ear, and he has the vice president's ear as well. His son is working for him. So the question is, how far will JD Vance go when he's looking and he needs the support of Turning Point, he needs the support of Tucker Carlson and all these people on the right if he wants to maintain the MAGA legacy?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And I think the Jewish community would be very much more supportive of Marco Rubio than they necessarily would be of Vance, but we may get Vance. And so we have to make sure that we maintain tolerable relations with him.
So what do we do? What are we supposed to do? I don't know if you went to the Hanukkah party. I know you went to the president's. Did you go to the vice president's Hanukkah party?
I invited to the vice president's Hanukkah party. I did go to the president's party, and I met with the president privately in the Oval Office, and we had some good talks. I can't disclose, obviously, what I said, but we did talk about Israel, and we did talk about lawfare, and we talked about the future of the country and the future of the world. And he was very supportive and very pro-Israel and very pro-Jewish in our conversations.
But we have to deal with Iran again because they're supplying Judea and Samaria with weapons, and they're looking to get back into business. And as much as we did, and we're appreciative to the United States and what Israel did with Iran, I think we're going to have to do it again.
I think so, and I think it has to be only Israel, not the United States. I don't think Israel should ask the United States to participate. I think they did what they had to do with the underground nuclear facilities. Right now, the biggest threat is the rockets. And I think Israel can take care of that alone as long as it gets the green light from Trump to do it. Now, Trump will be hesitant because he loves to proclaim his victories. And, making peace in the Middle East between Iran and Israel is one of his, featured successes. So he doesn't want to see that broken up. So I think when Netanyahu meets with President Trump in the coming days, that will be on the agenda.
As will be Hamas in Gaza, because according to the news reports, I'm sure you've seen, Professor Dershowitz, it alleges that the president was not happy that Israel knocked out one of the top Hamas operatives responsible for October 7th.
Very happy with that. And I made my happiness known in Washington, D.C. when I went to the Hanukkah party. And I made my unhappiness known about the concerns that were expressed about that. A ceasefire does not include assassinating murderers and killers. What Israel did was much, much, much more legal, for example, than what the United States did in killing Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden was not a continuing threat. He was hiding out, and not really communicating with anybody. And he came out without a gun, and could easily have been captured, but Barack Obama ordered him killed. That's much more serious and much more questionable than anything Israel did. Israel killing commanders and terrorists and people who organized October 7th is completely lawful and completely legitimate.
And still operating to kill Jews and Israelis.
Right. That's preventive. It's not reactionary. It's not reactive.
What do you make about the whole thing, the whole stink about the boats that are being taken out by the administration, the drug boats, the blocking of the oil leaving Venezuela?
Well, it's legal. The United States, under precedents established since the Second World War, is entitled to take military actions that are designed to save American lives. And taking military action against a country that does export drugs to the United States is within the power of the president. And, you know, you can have questions about whether a second strike on a boat.
Well, you think a second strike of the boat is legal?
Well, I think it depends on the circumstances. You can attack legally a boat, and if it doesn't work the first time, you can say complete the job. But if you actually see people with their hands up and they've surrendered and there's no possibility of them continuing any activities against the United States, and if you have a chance to help capture them, you must do that. But what is certainly, it's a gray area, I can tell you that. Now, the question is, when these senators and congressmen put out an ad telling American soldiers not to obey commands that are unlawful, does that include, for example, not shooting at boats in the Caribbean? And if so, no, that's not the right approach. If you see something that's absolutely unlawful, if somebody orders you to shoot somebody, here, the real question is what Obama did. Let's assume hypothetically, and we don't know all the facts, but I think I know enough of the facts to tell you that the order to the SEALs was do not capture Osama bin Laden alive. Oh, sure, if he comes out naked with his hands up, you can't shoot him. That would be improper. But it's dark, and that's not going to happen. We want him dead. We don't want him alive. Is that a lawful order? If the answer to that is that's an lawful order, then there's very little that's unlawful, except, you know, don't shoot somebody with his hands up if he's naked. I say naked because we know that both American soldiers and Israeli soldiers have been killed by terrorists who have surrendered with their hands up or with flags, white flags, and then blown themselves up.
Thank you for watching. If you like this content, you like our programs, please like and subscribe, as it helps the channel, gets these important conversations out there to a larger audience. So please become a supporter of TalkLine with Zev Brenner by liking us, by supporting us, and telling all your friends to watch. Thank you.